Hi, it's Colleen, and welcome to the WOW New Release YouTube Hop. We have a great lineup of designers ready to share their inspiration with you on all the new WOW products. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a great mixed media background card using the new products. Thank you for joining me today. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another one of my videos. So first I'm going to show you some of the products from the new release, starting with this gorgeous fall stencil that's called Falling Leaves. Now here's a card that I made with that stencil and some embossing powder, and you can see how lovely it is for your fall cards, even your Thanksgiving cards. This is the WOW trio that I used with that card. It's called It's Cold Outside, and this trio of powders is filled with glorious fall colors mixed with metallic colors, and it makes for an incredible background. And I'm going to show you the cool effect you get with these powders. When you hold them up, if you angle them this way, you see the metallic. And if you angle them this way, you see the color. And that's the effect you're going to get on the cards. Like if you look up close, you can see I used all three of the powders from the trio. And you get a really nice combination of gorgeous fall colors. Now here is another stamp from the new release. This is such a beauty for your winter cards. It's called Folk Art Snowflakes. And it's a gorgeous stamp with different size snowflakes, and they're really, really detailed. That's what I like about this stamp. Here's a card I made using that stamp, and you can see how there's different sizes, and it really fills a background up quickly with just that one stamp. Now I'm going to show you the powders that I used with that stamp as well. This is a gorgeous, more subtle trio of powders called Winter Wonderland. And I like how the colors are a little softer like you see with this card. And I think it's perfect for those of you who like to use more of the pastel colors in your cards. If you can see up closely, I used all three. I used the snowflake one in the background, the blue one with the leaves, and then the green one on the Noel sentiment, and they really look beautifully together. Now here is another card that I made using three new embossing powders. It's a trio. I love the trios because the colors come pre-made to blend together nicely. This one's called Indulgence, and you can see that these three colors work beautifully together. So they take the guesswork out for you. You can combine your powders like you would ink. And I love that. This one is filled with glittery goodness. Now, it's not a glitter. It is an embossing powder, and it has glitter in it, but you won't have the mess that you have if you use glitter. So that's the beauty of these powders, is that they will dry with your heat tool, but you'll get that glittery shine. Like, can you see it in the card here? I just did an abstract background just to give you an idea of what these three colors look like, and they really look beautiful together. Now, this is a stamp that we're going to be using today for our card, and it's called Layered Brush Elements. And I really love this because it's abstract and you can use it in any way you want. And I thought of using it as a really cool background stamp. Now, this trio is fun. You can tell just by looking at it. It's called Dee's Delight, and they're just fun, vibrant colors that you could use any time of the year, actually, but they're really quite pretty for this time of the year, going into the holidays. Now, here's a background that I made using those three colors. I haven't done anything with it yet. I just wanted you to see how beautifully they work together. It's kind of a glossy shine, and it's perfect. It's opaque and it's brightly colored, and you'll get a great bang for your buck if you want a card that's a little bit more vibrant. Now, these three beauties go with the new Catherine Pooler inks that were just released, and I'm sure you've seen them. They're called Glitz, Uptown, and Dress Blues. Now, Catherine Pooler frequently will make embossing powders that match her inks, and I love that. We're going to be using those as well today, so you can see how well they work together. Now, this might be one of my favorites in the group. It's called Copper Teal, And there is beautiful copper elements in there along with a gorgeous teal embossing powder. And it's just gorgeous. Here are 2 cards I made using that. Look at how stunning that color is. I love it. And here is another one, another card I used using that embossing powder. It's just so lovely. So now that I've shown you everything, let's get ready to make a card together, shall we? Now, as I mentioned before, we're going to be using the layered brush elements. I already created a background using Catherine Pooler's new inks. All I did was slap the inks onto my glass media mat, and then I did some ink smushing to get those colors. That's all I did with that. But I wanted to focus today more on building the background. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some of the pieces from the layered brush elements set, and I'm going to stamp them in black ink. I am deliberately not getting full coverage. I want this to look mixed media-ish, I guess you could say. So I'm not going for full coverage. I'm going for just the hint of black. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to keep building this up and adding more color to it. Now, you don't have to use black if you don't want black ink if you don't want to. You could easily use any color ink you want. I think the key to building a good mixed media card is just to build layers slowly, but have them complement each other so that the colors and the layers are complementing and not competing with each other. And that's what I'm doing here. Other than the Catherine Pooler inks, the black ink is the only other color that you are going to see on this. And I think it helps the mixed media look to be cohesive, if that makes sense. So now I'm going in with more of the little pieces from this layered brush elements, and I'm just continuing to stamp them in black, and I'm filling up the background, not completely filling up the background, but just creating a similar background that you might do if you were creating a background with floral elements. But what I'm doing here is I'm just using abstract elements rather than floral elements. But you could certainly use floral elements to create your background. Now I'm getting my heat tool and I'm heating this background before I go to the next step, which is using my embossing powder, because I want to make sure that the embossing powder does not go where I don't want it. So I want this to be very dry. And now I'm pulling out the 3 colors that I mentioned earlier, the Glitz, the Dress Blues, and Uptown. And what I'm going to do is just use the embossing powders now. I already have my layer of the ink in those 3 colors. Now I'm going to add these embossing powders over the black ink and the colored ink. And you're going to see how lovely this looks, because these embossing powders are a translucent. Well, actually, one of them is translucent and 2 of them are opaque, which means that one of them will allow the color to the color beneath it to show through, but with the opaque ones, the color beneath will not show through. And actually that is fine with me here with the look I'm going for. So I'm slowly building the color using each one of these 3 embossing powders. And you can see here, I have this piece of cork. I got this idea from Natasha Davies and Erica C. They both use this and they say it makes a big difference in how your embossing dries. And I have found that the embossing dries a lot faster using that cork, and I don't burn my hands. Good bonus. So as I'm continuing to build the color here, let me talk a little bit about the giveaway that WOW is having. So we have a $25 gift card up for grabs for you. To enter to win the gift card, leave a comment on each of the videos in the hop. The list of video hoppers will be in my description box. And while you're at it, why don't you let us know what your favorite thing is from the release? Every one of us is going to have something a little bit different. We all have little bits and pieces of the release, so you want to visit all of us so that you can see the full release. It's a big one and it's beautiful. So leave a comment by October 25th to enter to win a $25 gift card. We would also love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channels and hit the notification button so you never miss another video from us. All the details, all the descriptions of the product I'm using will be in the description box below. And we're also having an Instagram hop as well as a YouTube video hop. So you have another chance to win a prize if you hop along on the Instagram hop. And I will put the link to my Instagram handle in the description box below, as well as WOWs. So you can start at the beginning if you want to and enjoy all the glorious goodness of the day. So I'm going in with my last layer here. I believe the last layer I'm using is called Dress Blues. That reminds me of Elvis Presley. I think there was a movie similar to the title of this embossing powder that Elvis Presley was in. But, I digress here. Let's get back on topic, Colleen. So I'm going in with this last little bit of color, and I'm using my WOW embossing pad. That's a sticky pad, if you're not familiar with it, that allows the embossing powder to adhere to it. So you use your sticky pad, and it's clear, and then you add your embossing powder over it like you're going to see me do right now with the Dress Blues. Look how pretty that is. And then I will heat it with my heat tool. And WOW has a really nice heat tool that is a dual speed. It's a high and a low speed, and it heats up very quickly, so that it's much less likely that your paper will warp. So you can see right there, I am heating it up on my brand new piece of cork that I got. Thank you, Erica and Natasha. And that about finishes my mixed media background. And I'm so happy with how that looks. I love it. It's just a fun, playful background. So now it's time to put my card together. Now I am working on my sentiment, and I took Dress Blues and Glitz, and I just applied the embossing powder right to paper. And then I took my two-layered sentiment that says "Way to Go," and I put it through my die cut machine. So now what I've done is I die cut the middle of this glorious background stamp, and I put the center part of it onto foam tape, and I'm going to adhere it back on there. And what that does is it just adds a little dimension, and it just puts a little more interest in that background there for you. And then I'm just going to finish with my sentiment, and that's going to be it. I love this sentiment, I think. And what's nice is that I'm using only 3 colors in this whole thing, and I think it really works out well. And you can see the sentiment really nicely over that background. So I hope that you guys found some good inspiration today, and I'm just really happy that you came by to visit me. I think you're going to love this release. There it is. There's my finished card. So much fun. So remember to hop along and enter for your chance to win a $25 gift card. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss another video. And thanks for coming by.